Hey YouTube, welcome back to the channel. It's Jamar from Vegas Sense, and in this video I'm giving you 5 picks in my collection that in my opinion they replace the original fragrance for me. All right, so if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely stay tuned, and also please subscribe to the channel if you're brand new. At least about 70 to 80% of the people that watch my videos are not actually subscribed. So if you find the information in the video helpful and you enjoy the content, definitely do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also, please like the video and leave a comment below. All right, so just to get started with this video, the first fragrance that I have on this list is going to be from the house of Rifaaqat, and this is Rifaaqat's Sotoor Taa. All right, so Rifaaqat's Sotoor Taa, this is Rifaaqat's interpretation of really a classic fragrance from the house of Gucci, and this is their take on Gucci Guilty Pour Homme. Now, I remember Gucci Guilty Pour Homme at least probably about, I don't know, 10 plus years ago. And actually I had a bottle of that particular fragrance. Loved the way that it smelled, but it just didn't perform really at all on my skin. And this is definitely the complete opposite of that. And it definitely reminds me of the Gucci Guilty Pour Homme that I remembered from back in the day. Now, I'll have to get a sample of Gucci Guilty Pour Homme to kind of compare the two to see exactly, you know, how close this really comes to that particular fragrance. But the notes are definitely pretty similar. And like I said, I definitely still get that same sort of fresh, aromatic sort of fougere type of vibe from this particular fragrance, while also sort of being aquatic, but also at the same time being pretty dense as well. This is definitely a fragrance that, in my opinion, is probably more so suited for kind of like I would say the fall and the spring months. It does come off, at least in the opening, as being a lot more sort of fresher and lighter than it actually is. But once this starts to dry down, it definitely starts to become pretty strong and pretty dense. And this, you know, being a Rifaaqat, just like Rifaaqat Hawass and some of the other fragrances from Rifaaqat, definitely the performance, you know, in terms of like the projection longevity, that's definitely, you know, amped up with this particular fragrance as well as the others. So with this fragrance, Sotoor Taa, I get at least about, you know, 8 to 10 plus hours on skin, and really beast mode sort of projection, at least for probably about the first 2.5 to 3 hours, and really amazing sillage as well. All right, so again, this is Sotoor Taa by Rifaaqat. All right, so the next fragrance up, this is from F.A. Paris Fragrance World. I've done, you know, a few videos on this particular fragrance, and this is their take on Roja's Elysium. This is Divin Asylum. All right, so Divin Asylum, as you can see, the bottle presentation, it looks like the Roja Elysium Parfum Pour Homme bottle, but this is actually a clone of the Parfum Cologne. And this, in my opinion, it does get close enough to Elysium Parfum Cologne to where I do feel like I don't necessarily need to buy, you know, the bottle of Elysium. Now, when you first spray this on, in my opinion, it still doesn't get the opening of Elysium, you know, as good as what the original does. It does come a lot closer than what, you know, Imperium does by Fragrance World, but in my opinion, this still is sort of lacking that, you know, sort of sparkliness and that sort of zesty, effervescent punch that you get from the Parfum Cologne of Elysium. This to me is just slightly more toned down. But in my opinion, I do still think that, at least for me, this still does enough, with that Elysium DNA to where I do feel like this would be a fragrance that I definitely don't need to go out and buy, the full bottle of the Parfum Cologne for, like around $300. Also, the main thing that I notice when I wear this particular fragrance, as opposed to Elysium, is even though, in my opinion, this doesn't project as loudly as the Parfum Cologne does, the main thing that I notice is I'm able to smell and detect this for a lot longer than I do with the Parfum Cologne. The Parfum Cologne, I feel like whenever I would wear that particular fragrance, I would probably smell it for like an hour, hour and a half or so. And then, I would maybe get, sort of small wafts of it for maybe like the next 2 hours or so, 2 to 3 hours. But after that, I literally couldn't smell it at all. With the Divin Asylum, I'm able to smell this at least 7 to 8 hours later. So I'm not sure if it's something to do with like the ingredients in Elysium, where maybe they're actually stronger and I'm just going nose blind to them. I'm not sure, but I definitely, like I said, I pick up on this fragrance way longer than I do with Elysium, and I think that's why I definitely enjoy this particular fragrance a little bit more than I do Elysium. That one, the Elysium, at least on my skin, is a little bit fleeting. So definitely, if you love that, really sort of crisp, effervescent, sparkly, sort of citrus, mixed with vetiver and spices that you get with Elysium, if you like that, then I would say this is definitely worth it, the Divin Asylum. Definitely the Oud store, that's pretty much where I bought this fragrance from. I think they have the highest price on it, which is like around $80 or so. So that's pretty high for a cologne. I have seen this on Frag Bar, I think for probably around $50 or so, $50 to $60. So definitely, if you can find this on that particular site, if they have it in stock, I would say definitely pick this one up. It's absolutely worth it. Again, this is Divin Asylum by F.A. Paris Fragrance World. All right, so the next fragrance, this is definitely, again, one of the more sort of hype fragrances in the cologne fragrance community, and it has been for probably almost a year or so now. This is Latvas Camera. All right, and this is not even really a clone of by Killian's Angel Share, more so kind of like a inspired fragrance, but I do actually prefer this over by Killian's Angel Share. This, at least on me, it comes off as being more so like a date sort of sweetness. It comes off almost sort of more chocolatey, a little bit more boozy in my opinion. And definitely it comes off as being a lot more dense and heavier in terms of a scent. Now, this is definitely going to be for, like that fall and winter time wear. And I get amazing performance with this particular fragrance. Again, at least about 8 to 10 plus hours on skin. Monstrous projection, at least for like the first probably 2.5 to 3 hours or so, and then just really amazing sillage as well. And this to me it's definitely one that you have to like sweet fragrances or be okay with wearing sweet fragrances. If you're not into those types of fragrances, or maybe if you're a guy and you feel like wearing sweet fragrances are more kind of feminine, then you're probably not going to like that about this particular fragrance. You do have to like more so kind of gourmand types of fragrances. But if you're perfectly okay with wearing that type of scent, this is an amazing scent, especially for the price that this one comes at. I think now that the hype has slightly died down and this one has become, slightly more available at different sites, I tend to see this one go for like around $35 or so. And I believe that's around what I paid on fragrancebuy.ca when I first bought this. Believe it was like late last year. So yeah, definitely if you can find this for like around that $30 to $40 mark or so, this is absolutely worth it. I would say even if maybe if you do own By Killian's Angel Share, maybe give this one a try, especially if you like that particular scent. Maybe give this one a try. This one I think could be like a good alternative or change up for someone that, maybe wants to save their bottle of Angel Share, but at the same time wants something slightly different. Definitely check this one out. This is Latvas Camera. So this next fragrance up, this is from Paris Corner. This is their take on YSL Baby Cat, and this is Rifaaqat by Paris Corner. And I can't stop mentioning this fragrance in videos. This is definitely probably about the, I don't know, third or fourth video where I've mentioned this particular fragrance, and this is just a really amazing, spicy, smoky, sort of vanilla scent. I really love the way that this is done. This is definitely, it's more smoky than what YSL's Baby Cat is, in my opinion, especially in the opening. It definitely comes off as having like more of like a sort of incense type of vibe from it. The YSL Baby Cat, in my opinion, comes off a little bit more fresher, and I would say probably slightly more sort of aromatic than what this one does. But with that added sort of smokiness that the Rifaaqat has, I think that sort of adds like a masculine touch to this particular fragrance. So definitely, if you're a guy that is looking for that sort of YSL Baby Cat scent DNA, I think this is definitely a good fragrance to maybe look for and try. I don't think you're really missing too much when it comes to the experience that you get with this fragrance as opposed to the YSL Baby Cat. Like I said, the Baby Cat is just slightly more sort of fresher, more aromatic in the opening, and then in the dry down, this particular fragrance, Rifaaqat, it becomes to me a little bit more vanillic, but it's really done in a really nice way. I really love the way that this smells in the dry down. The YSL, it has vanilla in the base, but it's not as sort of prominent as what it is in this fragrance. So also the performance on Rifaaqat, really good, at least 8 hours or so of longevity, and pretty moderate, I would say, projection, at least for probably about the first hour and a half to 2 hours or so. And the sillage is really where this fragrance and really just this scent DNA overall really shines. This has amazing sillage. This really hangs in the air and sort of sticks around. So people are definitely going to be smelling you, whether you're wearing this or if you're wearing Baby Cat. All right, so definitely check this out. I was able to pick this one up from Aroma Concepts for I think around $40 to $42. And I believe this is like a 80 or 90 ml bottle. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'll have links in the description to where you can purchase all of these fragrances. So I'll definitely check those out. And again, this is Paris Corner's Rifaaqat. All right, and so the last fragrance, this is definitely one of the more sort of sought after clones that I've seen, in a while. And this is from Emperor Perfumes. This is their take on Louis Vuitton's Imagination. This is Intimation. All right. So I was able to pick this fragrance up on LaBelle Perfume's website a few months ago for $19, and this is for a 120 ml bottle. I think I've seen this fragrance lately, probably like within the last maybe 2 weeks or so on Amazon, and they only had a few left. So I'm sure probably by now they're sold out again. And I believe LaBelle Perfumes is still sold out on this one as well. But this fragrance, like I said, this is their take on the Louis Vuitton Imagination DNA. And in my opinion, even though this fragrance is not like a one-to-one clone, I wouldn't even say that this isn't even 90% close to it. I would say this is probably about 80% or so close to Louis Vuitton's Imagination. I just prefer the way that this is done. In the opening of this fragrance, this is definitely sort of sweet and minty, in my opinion. The Louis Vuitton definitely comes off as being a lot more sort of tart, and it doesn't have as much sweetness as what the Intimation does. Now, you do get some sort of tartness from this one as well, but it's not as sort of pronounced as what you get in Imagination. Also, in the dry down for this particular fragrance, in the dry down, this definitely focuses a lot more on like that black tea note, the Ceylon cinnamon, the ginger. That's the main part of what the dry down is for this fragrance. And it smells slightly woody as well. With Imagination, at least on me, there's more of that emphasis on like the neroli note. You can still smell the neroli in this particular fragrance, but the way that it comes off in the Louis Vuitton, it's definitely a lot stronger. And I mean, at least for me, I don't necessarily love the note of neroli. I do have the other Louis Vuitton Imagination clone as well, the F.A. Paris, I believe it's Essence de Blanc. That particular fragrance definitely comes a lot closer to the Imagination, like 90 to 95% close. But that one, just like the original, it has, more of an emphasis on that neroli note. And I just don't enjoy wearing that particular fragrance as much as what I do this one. I definitely reach for this one a lot more than what I do with the Essence de Blanc or, even the Louis Vuitton Imagination. So definitely, if you can find this particular fragrance, I would say scoop this up. Even if, it's listed for maybe $40 to $50, I do still think that this one is worth it. When I first got this fragrance, it didn't really perform that great on me. I probably got around 3 to 4 hours or so of longevity on skin. Definitely now I'm starting to get more into like that sort of 6.5 to 7 hour mark on skin when it comes to longevity. The projection and sillage are pretty much the same. This projects pretty decently for probably like the first hour and a half or so. And it has pretty moderate sillage as well. But like I said, the longevity has definitely improved on this. So I think that also makes this one a lot more attractive of a choice when it comes to like a Louis Vuitton Imagination sort of alternative. All right. So, definitely I would say be on the lookout for this particular fragrance on the LaBelle Perfumes website. That's probably going to be where you'll be able to find this the cheapest. Like I said, I only paid $19 for this on that website. So definitely look out for it on there. But you can also typically find it on Amazon for like around $40. All right. So again, this one is Emperor Perfumes Intimation. All right, so that is the list, man. Let me know what you all thought of this list. I definitely have more fragrances in the future that I'll be doing in terms of, those particular clones sort of replacing the originals. I just wanted to kind of keep it to 5 fragrances in this video so that the video wouldn't be super long. All right. So definitely let me know what your fragrances are in terms of clones that actually replace the originals for you. Let me know in the comments below. All right. So again, if you found the information in the video helpful, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also like the video and leave a comment below. And once again, this is Jamar from Vegas Sense. I'll see you on the next video.